Hello, everyone. We're back for another episode. And this week I have with me Jen Goddard. She has spent nearly 20 years in the corporate world as an actuary before deciding that people were much more interesting than spreadsheets, although she still loves a good spreadsheet.
I
And she
do.
has trained as a coach. She works alongside her awesome husband, Mark, to coach couples wanting to find new levels of love and connection in their relationships. So, Jen, tell us a little bit more of what brought you here. And I'm also super excited to dive into this topic.
Yeah. So, goodness me, where do I start with that? So, the journey into coaching was really my journey out of the corporate world in a lot of ways. So, you might guess from the accent, people listening, I'm from the UK, not America. And over here, yeah, I was stuck in that corporate job for quite some time. And it wasn't that I didn't like it, it was just slowly draining me the whole time. And I always knew there was something more that I wanted to be doing. And when I worked with a coach myself, it suddenly opened up this whole new world of what was possible. And I always say I trained as a coach out of curiosity. I wanted to add to my people management skills. And I did my first few coaching sessions with my practice clients. I went, oh my God, where has this been all my life?
Oh,
It was like,
wow.
this is what I am meant to be doing in the world. It was that level of shift of like, oh
Nice.
wow, this has an impact. This feels amazing. This is what I want to be doing. And so I started coaching women in that area to start with. And then over the years, yeah, my husband has been working as a coach as well for a while. And we got to the point of going, you know what? A lot of what we both talk about is about how people interact. And we went, you know what? We could be doing something in this space. There's real power in what we do. And we actually started off our first couple that we took on. We took them on from a parenting perspective, talking on that side of things. We very
Okay.
quickly worked out that actually whatever's going on with the kids is actually more often than not more about the parents' relationship with each other than it is actually about what's going on with the kids so much.
Yeah.
And so we switched into facing into that relationship side of things. And both of us have a really strong perspective of for your relationship to work, you each need to be the best versions of yourselves. So when we're coaching a couple, we're coaching you as a couple, but we're also coaching you as two individuals to really find you within it. Because unless you're bringing you to your partner, then there's all sorts of things in the way and it doesn't work. That's where a lot of the
Yeah.
friction comes from. And so yeah, we've been doing this for a few years now, and the work we get to do with people, the shifts we get to see happen, it's so powerful and so fulfilling to see people step out of real conflict at
Mhm.
points into understanding each other and
I
coming
love
back
that.
together in a whole different way. It's the best work I could be doing.
So I'm curious, when people come to work with you, do you ever feel like they're like afraid to say something in front of their partner sitting right here?
Yeah, we get that a lot, and I think that's one of the things that we have to do, so well, and we do so well, is let people be safe to speak. And it's really important for us that the space is non-judgmental. And of course, yeah, when you've got your partner sat alongside you, that's the most challenging piece. And it's one of the things we work on first with our couples is that it's okay to feel however you feel and to start to voice it. Because if it doesn't get voiced, that's when it stays under the surface, it festers, it goes
Mhm.
smelly, as my husband would put it.
Well, it just becomes, I think it becomes resentment and you
Yeah,
start resenting the
exactly
small
that.
little things. And then that's where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's the dishes.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the
And
dishes.
that's the thing is that so much of what, when we see couples who come to us saying, oh, we had a fight today, the fight that happened today, about 95% of it has nothing to do with what happened today. So
Yeah.
much of it is about the same fight that happened last week or a year ago or 2 years ago. All the things that your parents said to you as a kid, which are playing out in the same pattern here, it often goes back way beyond your partner, even the wounds that need healing there that are what's showing up here. And when people start to understand that, they start to recognize that, yeah, okay, I'm bringing so much weight into an argument over the dishwasher.
Yeah.
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 And then you can start to go, oh, okay, yeah, that's mine. That's theirs. Let's each work on our part and come together in a different way.
I love that because as I'm sitting here thinking, you're giving these examples, and I'm thinking of a situation that even happened recently, even between me and my partner. And it was almost as if I could hear the need through the words. And I
Mhm.
remember putting my phone down and I was like, I think I'm going to pay attention because
Mm,
I'm over here in my space of like, and I could have gone into the negative space. What about my needs? What about me? What about
mm,
whatever? And I didn't. I recognized, hey, even though you're in this space of like, I want to pull back and hermit from everything, let's listen to a need that maybe needs addressing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that presence with each other is so important. And often, yeah, if we haven't looked at ourselves and what's going on with us, even when our partner first starts to say, "Hey, can we talk?" That used to happen with us so much. Mark would say, "Hey, we need to chat," and I'd be like, "The walls are up, the defenses, the
Yeah. Yeah.
boxing gloves are on."
What are
It's
you
like,
gonna
what's
do?
going
What
on
are you
here?
gonna
I'd be straight into that space, and he just like wants to talk about, "Hey, how you getting on? How was your day?" And I'm there
Oh,
ready for the fight almost. And that, yeah, for me to be able to recognize that was me.
yeah.
That wasn't it. He just wanted to chat. And it was a
Yeah.
very open and honest conversation from his side. But for me, there was all this weight I was bringing into it that when I could go, oh, hang on, yeah, that's mine. Yeah, my feelings are always mine. He can't
Yeah.
make me feel anything. I feel it.
I think,
Yeah.
and that's powerful that you just said that. They can't make you feel anything. I think we
No.
can influence a conversation and we can influence how
Mhm.
people feel. But I do feel, and I'm curious to know your thoughts too. Even in so I've been through relationships where they were rough, not my
Mhm.
best, and not something I would want to ever participate in again. But I've
Mhm.
also been through a relationship, even now, seeing it where I've been able to heal myself in the relationship, notice
Mhm.
the wounds, notice the issues. And not that I didn't do some of those things before, but I see them so much more clearly and I feel like they're more received. So I'm curious, do you find that the couples that come to you, they don't necessarily have to go heal themselves by themselves, that they can heal themselves through the relationship?
Yeah, yeah. And what we find is often that the first steps, especially if they're coming to us with quite strong defenses still in place, sometimes there's a bit of working on yourself first,
Okay.
reach enough vulnerability to then open up. But then once they start to open up to each other, that's where it becomes really powerful, like you say, is like when you can say to your partner, hey, I'm feeling stuff. What you just said to me has made me feel stuff. I know that's my stuff, but can you hear me out so that I can work through it?
Mm,
And being able to say, yeah, what you've said has left me feeling angry. That's not you. That's my anger that I need to deal with. Can you help me with that? And then be heard and have your partner go, yeah, that's okay. Because it might be there's something for me to work on here too. So let me hear you out and then we can understand the whole pattern and figure it out. Because our rule of thumb is that in any argument or any conflict that comes up, there's always going to be something on each side,
mhm.
whether it's something that's coming up from your past that's getting in the way, or whether it's it's the walls that are up, or an assumption that's being made. There's going to be things going on either side, and when you can each go, yeah, okay, let me hear you out, and then you can hear me out, and we can each understand what's going on for ourselves, and then go, okay, cool, and now what do we agree to do differently? Now that we can understand that and hear each other and support each other, that's when it gets really really deep. And those conversations don't have to be difficult, even at that
Yeah.
point.
Well, it sounds like you're showing your clients more pattern recognition.
Hmm.
Like, how do we recognize the patterns that come up? If we're getting frustrated about the dishes, it's not always about the dishes. I always use that because my therapist used to tell me the same thing. It's never
Yeah.
about the dishes. It's always something
Hmm.
deeper. And so it sounds like you're trying to help clients get down to couples get down to what is the root of the issue? What's the
Hmm.
pattern that's happening underneath and where is it being triggered?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Because like you say, it's never about the dishes.
What
Often
is it?
the dishes are I feel neglected, or I feel left alone, or I feel unsupported, or
Ooh.
whatever's sitting underneath that. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not just the stack
Even
of
when they're
dishes.
left in the sink and they're
Mhm.
neglected in and of themselves. I love
Yeah,
that.
that can end up feeling like, no, I feel alone here. When you leave that to me, I feel alone. And when you
Yeah.
can start to recognize for yourself that that's where you've gone, where you've let that take you, and where your partner can start to go, oh, okay, yeah, I get that's bringing up for you. Now it's interesting because it's not necessarily, again, it's not necessarily about the dishes. It's not like, oh, if I put the dishes away, she won't feel alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like it's being able to go, okay, yeah, I can understand that that's bringing up something that's more for you there. Let me hear you out on that, so that we can work beyond that. So that if it is the dishes, it is just the dishes.
Yeah.
We get to the point where, yeah, the practical conversations are just that, and we can figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tiny little things can become such flashpoints so easily when we don't recognize the patterns that are sitting underneath them.
I want to bring up a point that you just said, because you just
Mhm.
said that even if you just do the dishes, it still may
Mhm.
not be filling the need.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a clue too, because I'm very big on intention. Like, if you
Mhm.
were to live in your life every day with me, you would hear me say probably 9,000 times intention is everything. And
Mhm.
it's something my partner will come back to me and be like, hey, intention is everything. Somebody once told me. So I'm curious, what is your intention here?
Mhm.
And I love that we are able to have that conversation because it also gives us a listening ear. Like
Mm.
if there is something underneath, like, what was your intention in that? Did you intend that to be something to stab me? Or is that a
Mm.
me thing? And I think together we're able to bounce off of each other and say, oh my gosh. Because I remember one situation, he had texted me something and I read it wrong. Okay. As anybody would normally do.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I responded back through those feelings. Later, when he got home, excuse me, can we have a conversation? Because I felt this, but I don't think that's what you meant. Can you tell me what your intention was?
Yeah.
How do you how do you coach your clients through that moment of pause? Pause
Hmm.
and reflect and like then speak. How do you coach
Yeah.
them through that?
Yeah, a large part of it is that. It is as simple as just slow down. Because so many of us, we are autopiloting
Yeah.
from message received or dishes in the sink or whatever it is to, well, this means this and this means that. And it's happening so quickly in our heads that we don't even see the steps we've got to. All we get are the feelings.
Mm,
And we don't recognize that a little bit of very skewy logic has gone, well, he didn't do the dishes. Therefore, that means that he doesn't care about whether the house is tidy. That means he's leaving it up to me. And that means he doesn't care about me. Therefore, I'm all on my own. Which,
yeah.
when we slow it down and look at it, we can go, I don't think that's what he meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
often it happens so fast that all we get is the feeling that comes with it. And when we can slow it down and go, hang on, what was actually there? And I love your question about what was the intention, because that is a really powerful question to be able to ask. What we often encourage our clients to do is with any moment of conflict is take the time to go, okay, we're in conflict. That's all right. There's going to be something for us to learn from this. Because when you
Mm,
can start coming at it to that place of every time we get into a fight, there's going to be something that we can learn and clear through and understand differently so that we can come at it better next time, then it stops needing to be, oh, we've got to fix it or make it better. It can be a, cool, we get to grow beyond this. Let's do that
mm,
together. And then we encourage them to sit down and just talk it through with each other, but each have the chance to speak and be heard by the other one, who'll then reflect back and say, this is what I've heard from you. Okay, and how are you
yeah.
feeling? And just getting them to understand, okay, yeah, what are the feelings that this has brought up for me? What am I making this whole thing mean? Which will be the, yeah, well, the dishes in the sink made me feel like I'm alone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I need to work on. And
And
then being able to say, yeah, I felt like I had to do it this way because blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, and keep going like that.
And it makes me think into the what am I making it mean?
Mm.
What am I making it mean? It's no different than any area of your life, not even
Yeah.
just relationships,
Hmm.
even looking at it through, and I do a lot with health and weight loss and, even for business and hidden patterns that are happening underneath. And the number one question I ask my clients, so let's say, they sent out a reel or whatever, it didn't get the results that they were expecting. What are you
Hmm.
making it mean? Are you making it mean that
Yeah.
you're failing? What does it mean when you step on the scale? What are you making it mean? Because that's just a number between you and gravity. It has
Hmm.
nothing to do with what your value and your worth is.
Yeah.
And so I love the continuous, what are you making it mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think it's a self-reflective piece too.
Yeah. What happens is that what we've noticed is that it is such a deeply self-reflective piece that the people who come and work with us as part of a couple, it ends up rippling out into all sorts of areas, because what we're teaching them to do is to look at what's going on inside and how is it playing out within them. And so we see people who work with us as a couple have step ups in business, have changes in their careers, have
Ah,
shifts in their health and their family dynamic beyond just their partner and friendships and things. It ripples out into all sorts of different directions because what they're doing is becoming so in touch with themselves and in how they interact with anyone and anything in their lives that it really starts to shift it powerfully.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it kind of it goes hand in hand either way. Even when clients, when clients come to me, I think whenever we're getting down to the hidden patterns of what's
Hmm.
happening below the surface, it's like patterns give us clues. And so the patterns that keep happening are giving us those same clues, and maybe that we're making it mean something entirely untrue. But that clue remains. And I like that you said this earlier. It's not just always trying to fix yourself or fix them or
Mm.
fix this or fix that. Sometimes it's just a learning together as we grow.
Yeah.
Because maybe years ago, the dishes never bothered me. Now all of a sudden they bother me.
Yeah.
And so, and I tell my clients all the time, like, even when it comes to relationships, I think we're just coaching each other on how to love us differently.
Hmm. Yeah.
Let me tell you how to love me.
Yes. Yeah. And most of us were never taught that a relationship could be like that.
Yeah.
We we either grew up on the Disney style happily ever after, once you've fallen in love, everything will be perfect, which
Perfectly
of course it
fine.
isn't. Or we saw like, my parents, I love them dearly, but they're pretty dysfunctional sometimes, bless them, in that my mum won't say what she needs. She'll just keep the peace. My
Yeah.
dad will take himself off into he loves model trains. He'll go into his loft room with his model trains. And if he's feeling frustrated, he'll just disappear for a couple of hours. And then whatever went on will never be talked about again. And there's this, most of us saw role modeling of that or something similar
Yeah.
in lots of ways. A
Yeah.
lot of us didn't grow up getting to see what a healthy relationship can look like. So we don't know how to say, hey, I need you to listen to me. I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to hear me this time. Can I
Yeah.
can I just offload? And being able to just simply ask for what we need from our partner for a lot of people is so challenging because we don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
We've never seen it. But it is
Even
powerful when you can do that together.
and it is. Even you making that comment, I could feel it like, oh, I don't have a responsibility to take the
Mhm.
next step or do the next thing or be active or react or respond or whatever. Even just in that moment of like, can you just hear me? It's like, oh, all the responsibility is off. What do you need? How can I hear you better? Do I need to go get bigger ears? What is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I just feel like sometimes maybe, like you said, we're on autopilot. We're constantly going and we miss that mark
Hmm.
or we miss that opportunity.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about so we've got like a lot of listeners that we have a lot that are couples, we have some that are single.
Hmm.
What kind of tips can you give our audience right now? Either we're going to do both, those who are in relationships and those maybe who aren't that are looking. What are some tips that we need to be looking for, working on, etc.?
Oof, where to start?
Either one.
So So for those in relationships, I think we've kind of touched onto one of the pieces that I would always say to people already, which is just to let things slow down a bit. If you hit into any sort of argument, friction, whatever it is, just take a pause, take a breath, and come back to that question, what am I making this mean? Because often when we stop and ask ourselves that, we start to recognize, oh, I'm making this mean so much more than the actual thing is. And when we can go that way, you go, okay, I can tell this has brought up big feelings for me. Can we talk about that? Because
Yeah.
we get stuck into the nitty gritty of it rather than going, oof, yeah, back to the dishes. When you didn't do the dishes, that brought up anger for me and it brought up feeling alone. And when we can start to say, okay, this means more to me than just that, can we talk about the big piece?
Yeah.
And I might just need to be heard to know that you've got me. When you can start to ask for that, that's when things get better. But to get there, you have to slow things down. And it's the most important thing we can do is start to slow things down and to start to look at ourselves first. Because it's so easy. And I did this one for donkey's years. He's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so easy to go into he's doing that, she's doing that, pointing the finger at the other person. And what I've learned, and I'd say a lot of our couples learn, it's often when we're pointing that finger going, you're doing that, what we need to do is swivel it straight around to ourselves and go, okay, where am I doing that?
Yeah.
What's going on with me in relation to that? Because often we end up almost creating what we expect to find in our relationship because we're so sure that they're going to let us down You know, the
Yeah.
dishes aren't going to get done, that we swoop in and do the dishes and then we're angry with them for not having done them, but they were coming to do them. We got there first.
Yeah.
Did that one many times. It was usually the rubbish or trash in this house. Mark would come in to take it out and he'd be like, where is it? I did that earlier because you hadn't done it.
Uh,
And I just swooped in from the assumption, of course, he wasn't going to, when actually that was me. That was
yeah.
my assumptions and my belief that he was going to let me down rather than anything that he was doing. So when we start to look at what's going on in us first, sometimes we can head off the arguments before they even happen because we can go, oh, hang on, I can see where I'm
Yeah.
going here. Let's not do that.
So
Stop the
let me
head
ask
ourselves
this.
off.
When an argument does happen, do you encourage if there is a moment of take a breather, walk away, sort it out before it gets heated? Like, is there a moment where you can say, hey, can we pause this and actually come back?
So what I would always say to people is it is interesting because most of us, if we take a pause, what we tend to do is take all those feelings and shove them in a box and stick them on a shelf and pretend they're not there anymore and have a very calm, rational conversation. Whereas
Yeah.
actually the feelings are important because the feelings are the gateway to the meanings that are underneath it. And if we can't get down to that bit, we're not going to solve the full issue. We'll solve the practical bit, but we won't get to the depth of it. So the feelings are important, but we need to be in the state where we can have the feelings without doing the feelings at the other person, if you get what I
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, there's I am angry and I'm coming for you. It's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
being able
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm angry with you right now. That's my anger. I want us to work this out. And throwing whatever the hell you want to at them. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's different versions of it. So sometimes we need to call a pause in I can tell I have anger and I don't want to be so angry with you that I'm stepping
Okay.
over lines. So I need to take a breather so we can talk about it. So I can talk about it not from ego, because often
Yeah.
it's ego's taken over and it's just like with everything and being able to go, just let me take a couple of breaths and let adult me be in charge because often it's a little
Yeah.
child version of us that's
Right.
about it all. So yeah, yes, there can be the pause, but it's got to be a pause to come back constructively rather than a pause to put it away, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I don't do the whole sweeping under the rug and pretending like
No,
nothing
no.
ever happened. It's
Hmm.
I need a pause because this is whatever I'm about to say is not going to be the kindest of things. And intention is everything for me. So
Hmm.
let me circle back with
Hmm.
kind words and
Yeah.
understanding because I do feel even for me and like our situation, like we, I mean, we hardly ever argue. Well, like we never
Hmm.
do. Let me put it that way. I think we've only had one argument, but
Yeah.
it was a disagreement, and we were just both like, okay, you have your thing, I have my thing, and then there was no like we were not fussing about it or anything. But I
Hmm.
think it's because I have been very big, like I'm big on communication. If you
Hmm.
communicate to me, like I am fine. You go silent, that's going to leave my brain to do all the things. And so
Yes.
I have communicated that in a way of how can we bring this together? I'm not
Mm.
trying to be at you, I'm trying to be with you.
Yeah.
So if there's something that I'm saying that is not pleasing to the ears, or it's reminding you of a trigger or something else, share it. And if you need a moment, take your moment, but I am going to come back and ask you
Yes.
because I don't want this to happen again and I'm not being mindful and respectful.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it can be that if there is a step away, it's a step away with clarity to it. And then I need to
Yeah.
step away. I'll be back in 10 minutes, rather than just I'm out for now.
Yeah.
Because
And that,
that leaves the other person going, well, where do I stand now?
yeah.
And it just leaves
Yeah.
this horrible, icky mess
Yeah.
where nobody gets to feel good. Whereas if it can be a clear, look, I need to take the time to calm down a bit here, and then we can come back together in 10, 15 minutes once I've got my head in the game here. Great, because you know where you stand and you can have that bit. And so much of it is about clarity. It's about openness. It's about honesty. This is what's happening here.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it's one of those pieces we haven't necessarily seen modeled is just being able to speak really openly and honestly about what's going on for us and how we're feeling. Yeah.
And I think also putting that intention in, this is for
Yeah.
repair and reconnection.
Yeah.
Because if the intention is, okay, let's just stay mad at each other and separate, then you're going to separate. Like at
Yeah.
some point, it's not a matter of, what is the straw that breaks the camel's back? It's when, because
Mm.
it's going to be the compiled things over time. And I know I've seen that in some of my past relationships as well. It's
Mm.
hey, I've tried to voice myself. I've tried to give myself an opportunity to speak, and fingers come at me. I'm the problem, this and that and whatever. I'm trying to give safety for both of us, but I can't repair what is not willing to be repaired. And
Yeah.
so I do see the difference now in a healthier relationship. That is everything that we do is it's repair and reconnection.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I love that. So what would
Yes.
you say to those people who are single and they're not in
Mm.
relationships?
Yes. I think I think a really powerful piece is the same thing. It's starting to look within yourself. I go, what is it I'm looking for? And if, I know for some people, if you know that you've had challenging relationships before, it can be looking back and going, what went on with those? What was my part within that I can look to heal before I step into a next relationship? Because you don't have to wait to be in the relationship to do healing around your relationships. You can go, yeah, okay, this is what played out, you know, this is what's played out with previous partners, and I don't want that again. Okay, what was I bringing there? And it's never about blame. And it
Yeah.
shouldn't be about blame or guilt or shame or any of those things. It's just going, yeah, okay, whatever happened with that, part of that will have been what I brought. Let me explore that. Let me heal those pieces, because then I can come to the next person with a whole different perspective on it,
Yeah.
with a different openness to it.
And I think that too. So I did that. I took some time for myself to heal from what was. I also sat in a space of like I remember journaling a lot about who's the partner that if I want this specific partner, I feel like I need to become that to attract that.
Mhm.
So and it's not just how can I be better, but like how can I become the partner that I desire?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. And we talk with our couples, but I would say absolutely for people looking for a relationship as well. It's about who do I want to be? And
Yeah.
then who do I want to be with from that place? But who do I want to be? What's the best version of me that I could be? And then who's the person that fits with that?
Yeah.
How do I get to there? And I love a visualization type approach of just being able to take yourself forward to the future and imagine the scene of like, yeah, when you're in that relationship, you don't necessarily need to see the exact person you'd be with. When you're in that relationship that would feel like you were being your fullest self, yeah, how would you feel in that moment? What would be going on? Because when you can start to step into what that would feel like, you can start to be that here and now, whether you're in a relationship or not currently, then you start to, it's like you're beaming out to the universe. This is what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And then
And
accept
that
nothing less. Do not
yes,
settle.
yes.
I love that. I love
Mm.
that.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, and this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for all of your amazing knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about just the audience listening? What's something that you feel like needs to be said, needs to be expressed, and the work that you and Mark do to support your clients and couples?
Mm. I think one of the things that we recognize most from the work we've done with couples is that the most important piece within your relationship is you.
Mm.
And until you start coming back to yourself, the relationship itself can't fully heal. Which is why we work with couples, but we work with two individuals. The analogy we use is like we call it two paths to one future. Is that if we get this whole idea and it's like it's Jerry Maguire, isn't it? With the "you complete me." If you need the other person to complete you, that relationship is not right at the moment.
Yeah.
You need to be complete, and they need to be complete, and then you take 1 + 1 and make 1,000 out of it,
Mm.
because each of you is bringing so much of yourself to it that when you put it together, you get this spark that becomes so much more because each of you is whole and each of you is happy. And I remember one of our clients a while back when I first explained this to her, she was horrified by the idea. I was like, no, you need to get to the point you don't need him. If you need him, you're in trouble. When you're okay on your own and you want him, that's when it's really good.
Yeah.
And a lot of us get into this idea of like we want to need our partners. And yeah, I know if Mark wasn't here tomorrow, I'd be like I'd feel empty. I'd feel completely lost without him. And I also know that I'm a whole human being who could find happiness on my own and would do. I don't need him for that, but I get to have him here, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what a relationship should really be about, is two whole people getting to build something even better together rather than it being a need within there.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that people really grow into with us, is getting to see, yeah, this is me. This is who I am. That's my partner. That's who they are. And wow, look what we get to bring together now. And that's where the real magic happens, I think.
Yeah. I love that. I had somebody tell me one time, if I were to tell you that you were like your partner, and I remember this question today, and I still ask myself this every now and then. But if I were to tell you that you're like your partner, would you get defensive or would you be excited? And I remember that question so clearly. And at the time, it was not an excited answer. And I
Yeah.
thought, God, that means something needs to change. Like there has to be a shift. And being in this relationship and like just feeling loved and appreciated and like knowing what those things feel like and being able to express them. Look, I'm getting emotional. Being able to express them and feel them even more so. That question, I've asked myself that question even recently in the last year. And I'm like, God, I hope I'm half the person that you are. Like,
Mhm.
I hope I'm excited. Like, that would excite me. That would be like a box checked. Yay, I did something right, because just the way that this person does get to love me and share life with me. And I think that's it too. Like, we're doing life together. And so it
Yeah.
just makes everything so different. I don't need you. I don't want to ever feel like I need you because I don't need you. My hyper independent little child self and Leo energy would be like, bro, I don't need you. I enjoy you and I enjoy your company and I get to have that with you.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that, yeah, that kind of sums up what we talk about, what we want people to do, is to, yeah, be at the point where you can look at the person you're with and just be like, yeah, I get to be with them.
Yeah.
Isn't that
That's how I
awesome?
felt whenever I was reading your bio and I was like, she loves her husband and he loves her.
And that's the thing I say, it wasn't always like that for us. And it was a journey for us to get here. And that's why, it's why we get to support people in the way that we do, is we've had to learn it ourselves and live it ourselves to get
Yeah.
to where we are now. And yeah, it's been messy along the way. It's been really messy at points. We haven't been the dream couple the whole way through. Loads of people probably thought we were from the outside, but whew, it got messy.
Yeah.
But yeah, these days he's got my back, I've got his, and yeah, I know he's there.
Yeah, I love that. Like I said, I could feel the energy, and I'm like, God, I remember even whenever in some of my other relationships, I'm like, I would see people like that, and you could just feel it. You could feel the love that radiates. It wasn't a nasty obsession kind of love thing. It was
No.
just, it was natural and it was just
Mhm.
energetic. It was in tune with each other. And I'm like, I remember being that person that was like, I want that.
Mm.
I want that for myself and I want that for my person. And so like, how do we create that? And now being where I am today on this side, it's like, oh, it was becoming that to create
Yeah,
that. So
exactly that.
I love it. I love it. Well, tell everybody where they can find you, how they can get connected with you, and we'll close out.
Yeah, best places to connect with me are to find me on Facebook or on Instagram, and I think you'll share the links,
Yes,
won't you,
we're
with
going to
the
share the links in
podcast?
the
Yeah,
description. Yep.
yeah. Come find me on those. That's where we share about our couples work, and yeah, come and check us out. And yeah, and I should probably give you marks as well, because
Yeah. Yeah.
we
You
post
never know.
like when we talk about it from different perspectives. So you know,
Okay.
yeah, I often talk about the lady's perspective. He often talks about the guy's perspective, and we talk about the ways that things can play out between couples in different ways. So it's
Oh, I love that. And having both perspectives where women can go in there and be like, what
Mhm.
is my man really thinking?
And it's probably not what you think it is. Yes.
Probably not. All right, perfect. Well, thank you. You guys check out the description in there. We're going to put all those links. And as always, thank you so much, Jen, for being here. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. I've really enjoyed this. And we
Been
will
a
catch you
joy.
guys on the flip side.